Hey, what is going on, guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video we're going to be finishing off our little mini series on low elo mistakes, and in this video we're going to be finishing it off with the support role 15 common mistakes that low elo supports make. So to start it off here at number 1, and just keep in mind that the number 1 tip here is no more important than the number 15 tip. These aren't in any particular order at all, so just keep that in mind throughout the video. So at number 1 here though is that low elo supports, and you'll even see this as you go up into the higher elos as well, they'll walk into the jungle alone or just walk into unwarded areas alone in the mid to late game to try to get vision, and they'll just end up dying because the enemy team is just waiting for them. So in the mid to late game, if you do not have vision in your jungle, just don't walk into your jungle at all. You can do a couple of different things. You either need to have your team, tell your team to be with you, walk into the jungle together and look to get vision. If you do have an ability in your kit, say for example Lux's E that does provide you a vision, use that before you do walk into a bush. Another thing you should look to do is to just look to have your team push out the mid lane. You can look to go through mid and then go into the river bush by mid lane, get a ward in there, and then make your way towards the Baron. Just stay out of the jungle in the mid to late game if you are behind and if you don't have any vision, because a lot of the time it's just going to end up with you getting picked, the enemy team just getting Baron off of that. So just don't walk into unwarded areas alone. So number 2 here is whenever you do base, look to walk towards mid lane as you're going back to lane. Analyze the map. If the enemy mid laner is shoving up into your tower or into your mid laner's tower, then look to go mid, look to get a gank off mid lane. Don't just walk back to lane every single time you base. You should be looking to walk towards mid, either get a ward in the river to help your team out, gank mid lane. If there's nothing available, like if your mid laner is shoving to the enemy's tower or if your mid laner is base, then you could just walk back to lane in that situation. But whenever you do base, you should always be proactive, looking around the map and seeing what you can do before you do head back to lane. So number 3 here kind of stems off of number 2, and that is if you are going to make a roam play after you do base, you're going to be showing up in the bot lane probably like 10 to 15 seconds after your AD carry does. So there is going to be a slight window to where if your AD carry does play aggressive and keeps playing as how they would if they had a support there, they could end up dying. So just let your AD carry know when you're roaming, tell them to play safe, tell them to just sit back at the tower, lose 2 or 3 CS for you to get a good roam play off, because if you can make a successful roam play mid, get a kill, and your AD carry doesn't die either, then things are looking really good for you in that game. So number 4 here, play off of your level 2 spike. It doesn't really matter what support you're playing in the game. Obviously some supports are going to have a much stronger level 2 all-in than others, but if you can hit the level 2 before the opponent and play aggressive off of that level 2 spike while the enemy team is still level 1, it can end up single-handedly winning you the laning phase. So definitely look to help your AD carry thin out the wave at level 1. Don't just sit back in lane and let your AD carry auto attack the minions. Like, you should be autoing minions. Obviously don't take the last hits on them, but thin out the wave, allow you and your AD carry to hit the level 2 before the opponent, and when you do get that level 2, look to go for an all-in. What you can do is before you even get to lane, if you are playing a support who has a good level 2 all-in, let your AD carry know that. Let your AD carry know that you want to try to hit level 2 before the opponent and go for that all-in. And if you can plan these things out, if you have a plan for the laning phase and you can execute on it, then it can just single-handedly win you the lane right there. So number 5 is that you should be looking to set up vision, get control of objectives at least 45 seconds before they spawn when it does reach the mid to late game. So when Dragon and Baron are the primary objectives on the map, make sure you're getting there well before they spawn to set up vision, sweep vision, get deep vision in the enemy's jungle, because this is just going to lead to so many good things. It's going to lead to you getting picks. If you get a pick, say on the enemy jungler or even on anybody on the enemy team, it's going to allow you to have a 5v4. You're most likely going to be able to win a fight if the enemy does try to come in and contest the objective. So you're going to be able to get kills. You're going to be able to secure the objectives a lot easier. So just always be paying attention to the objective timers and get there and ping your team to get there well before they do spawn. So number 6 is another vision control tip, and that is you should always be placing your vision towards where the next objective is going to be on the map. So if the next objective in the next 3 minutes is Baron and there's no dragon spawning before that, then don't put any vision down on bot side. If the next objective is that Baron, then you should just be looking to play towards that side, get your vision on that side of the map. You don't want to be placing random vision, because if you're placing like random vision bot side and your team's never moving there, the enemy team is never going to be moving there because there's just nothing to do on that side of the map, then it's just a waste of wards, it's a waste of your vision. So just make sure you are planting your wards strategically and just not wasting them on parts of the map where you're actually not even going to be going towards. So number 7 is a really important one for just allowing your AD carry to CS under tower well, and that is when the ranged minions are under tower, if you auto them once, after one tower shot, your AD carry will be in the threshold to last hit them. So this is just very important for you to do, especially if you're playing a ranged support and you do have the advantage of staying a little bit further back. If you are playing a melee support and you need to walk up that far and you're getting poked under tower, then in that situation it can be a little bit risky. So it always is going to come down to the situation, but if you're not getting pressured under tower at all, then you can look to do this, and it can just allow for your AD carry to secure a lot more CS under tower. So number 8 is that a lot of support players feel like they can never touch the minion wave, and that AD carries are the only champions that can touch the minion wave in the laning phase. But if you're looking to get a hard shove on the wave, if you're looking to shove and base or shove and roam, then look to help your AD carry do so. Throw your abilities on the minion wave, auto attack the minions, get them low enough so that your AD carry can last hit them. Obviously don't last hit the minions yourself, but by doing this, by helping your AD carry shove the wave in, it's going to allow you to get a quicker base time off, get back to lane sooner, it's going to allow you to roam faster. So just don't be afraid to use your abilities, auto attack the wave if you are trying to shove it in quickly. So number 9 is a very important one for the laning phase, and that is you should look to be playing around lane bushes to zone or poke in lane. This is going to force the enemy bot lane to do a couple of different things. So they're either going to have to waste their ward on the lane bush instead of warding the river bush or the tri bush. So you basically guarantee that the enemy is wasting one of their wards so that your jungler could potentially look to get a much more successful gank off for your lane. It's going to force them, if they don't ward the bush, to play safe, because if you're sitting in the bush and you have either a long range CC ability or a long range poke ability, then they're gonna have to respect that. And if they don't, because the enemy will not see the startup animation of your ability from the bush, you're gonna be able to surprise them, and it's going to mean that your abilities are going to hit a lot more consistently. So just look to get control of the bush in the laning phase as support, because it's just gonna allow you to just dominate the laning phase if you can do this correctly. So number 10 is that if you are shoving the enemy under their tower and you can't pressure anymore, if you don't have any poke abilities that you can use to poke them under tower, then look to roam or look to ward. Don't just sit there in lane watching the enemy bot lane or watching the enemy AD carry last hit the minions under tower. Look to go either ward the tri bush, look to roam down the river, get a ward deep in the river, or look to roam mid lane. Be proactive when you do have your priority in the laning phase and take advantage of that. So number 11 is that when you are playing a support champion who doesn't really do enough damage to objectives to make it worthwhile for you to be hitting the objectives, say for example, if you're playing a heal or shield support like a Soraka or like a Janna or a Sona, then don't just be sitting on the objective, autoing it or doing damage to it. Look to zone the enemy jungler or try to zone the enemy team from the objective, especially if this is the mid to late game and it's like a game-changing Baron or a game-changing Elder Dragon. Then do all you can, like CC the enemy jungler, get vision on the enemy jungler so that they cannot get into the pit and steal the objective. That should be your main objective as a support when it does reach that stage of the game. So number 12 is one for the laning phase, and that is you should always be looking to poke the enemy AD carry when they are going for last hits. This is pretty much going to guarantee, or it's going to give you the best chance for your poke to land, since the auto attack animation is going to keep the enemy in place for a split second. So for example, if you're playing someone like Brand or Zyra or Vel'Koz, any range support that does have a good poke ability, then just be looking to take advantage of this in the laning phase. Don't just throw your poke abilities randomly in lane and hope that they hit. Watch for when your minions do get low. Watch for when the enemy AD carry is going to be trying to last hit them, and then punish them with your abilities in those situations. So number 13, you should be looking to play off where your jungler or where the enemy jungler is playing on the map. So you're going to see this very, very often in solo queue. Your jungler is going to invade the enemy's bot side jungle, and what you should be looking to do as a support is you should be looking to get over there as soon as you can. So if you have the wave shoved in already to the enemy's tower, look to roam over there right away. If you don't have the wave shoved in, then you should be doing everything you can to get it shoved in and roam over there, because if you can roam over and get there before the enemy bot lane does, and you can like catch out the enemy jungler with your jungler, it can just lead to him getting super far ahead in the early game. Also, if you do notice that the enemy jungler is playing towards bot side a lot and your jungler is playing towards top side, then just play safer in the laning phase. Don't play too aggressive. Adapt with each game and play according to where your jungler and where the enemy jungler is looking to focus their time on the map. So number 14 is that you should be placing your pink wards according to your lane state and what you were able to defend. So for example here, if you're on red side or purple side and you're getting shoved into your tower the whole game, then you should not try to place a pink ward in the river bush. Planting a pink ward in the river bush is pretty useless because the enemy team is just very easily going to be able to destroy that when they do shove the wave in and walk down to the river. So if you're getting shoved into your tower, just look to get a ward in the tri bush there. It's going to allow you to know if the enemy jungler is coming in behind for a dive, and it's going to allow you to back off if they do end up doing that. So just make sure that depending on where you're playing on lane, you do adjust where you are planting your pinks. And then lastly here, to round out the video, number 15 is that you should always be trying to reset the same time as your AD carry does. Even if your AD carry is basing at a time you think is bad and they should be basing at that time, if your AD carry does base, then you should try to reset at the same time as they do, because if you're not syncing up your base times, your AD carry is going to get back to lane before you do, and it could end up with your AD carry just getting caught out in a 1v2 scenario and they end up dying. So unless you are looking to make a roam play, you see a skirmish breakout, or it's a very easy roam play mid lane, you should try to sync up your base time with your AD carry so you just prevent them from dying in 1v2 scenarios. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Those are 15 common mistakes that low elo supports make. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video.